come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song. Come together, from different worlds we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. Come together, dreams and hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home.
Good morning. I am Reverend Nina Clark, Associate Minister here at Unity in Lynnwood. Welcome. We are so glad that you're here with us this morning. Most of us are familiar with this quote by the French philosopher Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. But we forget that, don't we? We get sucked into this real-time movie and start believing that we are separate bags of carbon and water. And from that place of the belief in separation, we create all sorts of us against them havoc, because the belief in separate creates an us and a them. So began wars and weaponized religion, partisan division, the destruction of our planet, sexism and racism, and crazy, needless violence. We believe that there isn't enough to go around, and that some of us are less and some are more, and that someone is always, always trying to steal our cheese. We end up believing, or at least acting, like we are human beings having a human experience. And then we try to solve our problems at the level of the problem, from that place of belief in our separateness. And we make things worse and worse. But if we seek first the kingdom of heaven, and we are told that this kingdom of heaven is within us, if we seek that ocean of infinite consciousness and immerse ourselves in that high place of divine ideas, in that high place of unconditional love, in that place of infinite wisdom, we can bring a new and higher perspective to bear on the conditions of our lives. This perspective doesn't say that there aren't any problems, or that we're to pretend that the problems don't exist in the world of form, but it says that there is another way to approach them, a higher way. This is what Unity teaches. Unity and our New Thought umbrella offer us tools and a new orientation in consciousness that help us to navigate the challenges of being spiritual beings, having a human experience. In Unity, and indeed of all New Thought, we teach the oneness of all life, that we are made of the same substance. It doesn't matter what you call it. That part is semantics. Life, God, spirit, infinite field of all possibility, substance, ground of all being, and many other names of God. It doesn't care what we call it. It knows itself as one, as infinite, as eternal. Unity teaches us that there is only one presence, one mind, one consciousness, one infinite and eternal substance, and that by virtue of it being infinite, we can't be separate from it. We are one with it. And if you find yourself saying to yourself right about now, well, I can't lean into that. That seems so cold and impersonal. this infinite mass of conscious awareness. I'll ask you to close your eyes. Let's all just close our eyes for a moment and breathe in. By coming to understand that infinite and one are the same thing, we come to know that this breath flowing into our lungs right now is of God. The air passing through your nose into your lungs is made of God's stuff. The lungs that receive the air are made of God's stuff. That which sees through your eyes and your eyes themselves are made of God, for there is nothing else for them to be made out of. Oh, and God is closer to you even than all of that, for God has individuated as you. It is expressing as you. It doesn't get any closer. It doesn't get any more personal. It doesn't get any more intimate than that. This is what unity teaches us. And once we understand the truth of that and we really work it into the marrow of our bones, then we come to know that what is true of it is true of us, because it cannot not be. This is what we teach here. And so, with your eyes closed, turn within to that kingdom of heaven, that place where all the lines that seem to divide us fall away, and we come to know the truth of our being as one with all that is. We are not and cannot be separate from anything, for there is only one. Bring all of your attention to that truth. Let that thought, let that idea have its way with you. Let this thought expand throughout your entire being with each breath, becoming stronger and more powerful with each inhale, with each exhale. Let these words bathe you in the truth and the power of who and what you are. There is only one, and you are one with that one. That one is individuating as you and as all manifested life. You are made of God's stuff. That's what we teach here. And when you encounter some place within yourself that wants to deny this truth, stand firm and turn your attention back to this truth, even if you don't quite believe it yet. Don't argue with that which would want to deny this truth, for it wins by pulling your attention away from what is true. And what have you got to lose? If you're right, new levels of consciousness will open their doors to you. And if you're wrong, the TV remote will still be waiting for you. There's only one. You are one with that one, and that one is individuating as you and as all manifested life. You are made of God's stuff. With an open mind and an open heart, be willing to allow the truth of that walk you into the realization that this means that all that is true of God is true of you. The soul that you are, the light being that you are, the emanation of God that you are, the expression of capital I intelligence that you are, is magnificent. This is what unity teaches, and we teach to live this truth into our world, and so it is.
I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together, dreams and hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home. everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one stays the same. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. For that's the way of time. Nothing goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring. A wounded heart will heal. Oh, but never much too soon. Nothing goes unchanged. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. For that's the way of time. No one stays unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and music makes me cry.
What a pleasure it is to be with you. We are joined yet again this week with a limited number of people in our sanctuary who have done a stunning job. Thank you for gracing me with the nobility of your presence. It's a great honor. It's a great honor. Truly, it is. My name is Dr. Richard Loren Held. It is yet another honor to be the spiritual director of this evolving, unfolding, grand experiment of oneness and possibility, which we call Unity in Lynnwood. For those of you who have youth, please note that youth and family ministries gatherings are available to you as well. If you would like credentials for next week's gatherings, contact that program's director. Her name is Stacy Bailey. We do invite you to avail yourselves to the vehicles of support which we have fashioned for you. Of course, visit unityinlynnwood.org, where you can meet your leaders, download recent blogs, enjoy podcasts. You can even enlist prayer support and download brochures. Engage with UIL on the social media platforms of your choice. Download the Unity in Lynnwood app. It's free in both Android and Apple versions. We invite you to click on the Breeze link, especially if you are a member of unityinlynnwood.org, a member of Unity in Lynnwood, rather. Click on the Breeze link. It's provided in your social media chat window. This enables reminders and text notifications as well. As always, if you'd like to stay in touch through a couple email messages each month and know we would never share or sell your information, click on the link provided in your social media chat window. We are delighted to include you. It's a great way simply to confirm that we have your current information as well. And always, I love to say that if we can support you with any or all of the above, we love it when you call. It's never an imposition. It's always our privilege. Click or ring. Practical spirituality, welcoming community. That mission statement so short on word and yet so long on idea. So it is that every week I like to support this with one of the value statements, one of the bullet points, which we developed in conversation with your board of trustees beginning in late 2014. Where does the time go? It reads as follows: we seek to discover and share spiritual practices which are repeatable and reliable, and to infuse these spiritual practices into every area of daily living. How about that? If you would like to pray with another, our chaplains are at the ready. If you would like what we call a divine wholeness session, meaning simply being in the presence of another who sees the nobility of you on your behalf, start the process simply by writing prayer at unityinlynnwood.org. And if you are new or newer to our community, we'd love to send you a gift. It's a copy of Unity's Daily Word. Yet again, just click or call. Of course, please include your mailing address. There's a poster that hangs in my office. Now, this poster was a gift from Reverend Nina Clark, and its words were drawn from a book I wrote many years past. It was entitled Radical Essays on This Thing Called God: What It Is, What You Are, and How It All Fits Together. And no, you won't find the book on the open market, so don't bother looking. The book is pretty radical. even by unity standards. And so when I started teaching in a unity center, I got a little shy, shall we say, and I had the book discontinued. It strikes me as rich, indeed, on this Halloween weekend to start a conversation by demonstrating just how quickly we tend to strap on our masks, whether to project something that isn't or to disguise something that is. Maybe that's what someone tuned into here today. I really don't know. Now, when I say that the book is pretty radical, even by unity standards, it starts with the rather inflammatory question. And I quote from the book, it starts, "It really doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, such traditional ideas of God really don't withstand any amount of critical thought. If God lives out there, where exactly is there? How can any one religion be the religion? How can God be available only to people of a certain era or geography? What about all of the others? Do they just arbitrarily go to hell? And what about the children who didn't know enough to perform the prescribed rituals? Do they just go to this hell as well? And where exactly is this hell? And if sin will keep me from heaven, but God will always forgive, why not party through life, beg for forgiveness during that final hour, and slip through the pearly gates with all the nuns and Girl Scouts?" And when I say that the book is pretty radical, even by unity standards, it goes on to pick even more fights with passages suggesting that while the heaven and hell of the human mind are most real, geographic heaven and geographic hell are the myths of a primitive people created to explore that which they did not understand and to encourage adherence to moral codes. So whether you're waiting for the pearly gates and the harps or waiting for the hellfire and the trombones, you will eventually discover that all you've really gained is the ability to wait. How about this one? The idea of ownership is a myth. The idea that a thing, an intellectual property or a piece of land could be owned is really quite inappropriate from the spiritual perspective. And so we enter into healthy relationships with such elements of this world to the degree that we relinquish this belief in ownership. We enter into healthy relationships with such elements of this world to the degree that we accept that they are gifts, generously provided, to be ravenously enjoyed during their respective hours and then freely released, as all must ultimately be released. How challenging is that idea to today's materialistic mindset? Another one starts, money isn't bad, sex isn't bad, nor are they inherently good. In and of themselves, they are, of course, quite meaningless. They are vehicles for our joy, for our sadness, for our self-loathing, for our self-respect, for construction and destruction, all based upon the consciousness with which they are engaged. Money and sex are simply benign vehicles for the development of consciousness. So the true spiritual practice of abstinence is to remind ourselves that the things of this world have no bearing on our eternal selves. To remind ourselves that money and power and that money is not power and that sex is not love. It goes so far as to say that the second coming of Christ isn't about the physical return of a single personality. It's about the spiritual awakening of an entire people. That we think we are waiting for the coming of something really profound, when in fact something really profound is waiting for us. Oh, and finally, how about this one? Take a deep breath. The only thing Jesus possessed that you don't is an awareness of the power available to him and the discipline to learn how to use it. Ooh, I told you that book was radical, even by Unity standards. And yet, amidst such radical essays, were scattered several about nature, each of which was preceded by the quote that appears on that poster. And that quote reads as follows, I do quote, as we attempt to uncover the truths of life, we need only reflect upon the truths of nature. As we attempt to reconcile the complexities of value, death, purpose, change, and abundance, we need only reflect upon the simplicities operating beyond our back doors. For whatever truths are operating fully within the latter are operating fully within the former. The universe is never preferential or fickle. End quote. Now, for me, this means that God, not as an anthropomorphic male, but as the isness behind all expression, as the life behind all emanation, as the ground of all being, can be found not only by opening books, but also by opening windows. And this is the nature of today's conversation. For it was this week that I gleaned some remarkable comfort from the wisdom of a tree. Now, wisdom from a tree, I can hear you thinking already, but stick with me, please. I think there's something in the wisdom of trees for you. Now, let me start by saying that I love autumn. A show of hands in the sanctuary this morning. Yes, okay, I see. And I'd like to extend a special thanks to the amazing team who gathered on campus yesterday to prepare the grounds for winter. This was under the leadership of team lead Tim Vogt's. Deep gratitude. It looks amazing at Unity in Lynnwood. So I love autumn. I love the cooler temperatures and everything that comes with the cooler temperatures. I mean, who doesn't love a quality sweater? A hot cocoa, maybe a roaring fire, a Thanksgiving event. We do invite you not to miss our Thanksgiving Eve service, by the way. It's at 7:00 p.m. on, the eve of Thanksgiving. Today, I love what I call that back-to-school consciousness of autumn. It's so similar to New Year's and birthdays and anniversaries. It's that hopeful consciousness that knows no matter what happened back then, you can begin again right now. Now, maybe that's what someone tuned in to hear this morning. I really don't know. And I love the brisk winds. I'm reminded of living in West Germany and walking with my host. It was a spry, energetic woman who described the air of autumn while waving her hands enthusiastically in the air. Oh, the air is just so powerful. My German accent is horrible. But those were her words. The air is just so powerful. And of course, I love the colors. Who doesn't love the colors of autumn? Oranges, yellows, reds, whether waving in the breeze or gathering in those mounds. To this day, I can remember in a sensory way how it feels to dive into a pile of leaves. Now, to the point of today's discussion. Let me say that I love what's happening behind the colors as well. And I have to wonder if you might love it too. For it's when those cooler temperatures arrive, it's when those brisk winds pick up that our wise trees, now wait for it, begin to recall their life energies back to center. And it's as they begin to call these life energies back to center that leaves begin to turn from greens to the yellows, to the oranges, to the reds, drying, curling. That capital L life might restore, renew, and reinvigorate its creation again in another season. And I find myself thinking there are many for whom today's world might be likened to something of a spiritual autumn. There are many for whom the cooler temperatures of uncertainty, of anxiety, of change have indeed arrived. There are many for whom the brisk winds of even fear, injustice, even of violence have indeed picked up. And it's in such times that perhaps our wise tree remind each of us that it might be time to bring our life energies back to center. It might be time for us to recall our life energies back to center. Now, while that might be an easy matter for a tree, I mean, it involves words such as sap and water and photosynthesis. That's a throwback to Mrs. Madden's 5th grade class, by the way. While that might be something of an easy matter for a tree, for us, maybe not so much. What might it mean to recall our life energies back to center? That capital L life might restore, renew, and reinvigorate its creation again in another season. Now, in the end, I don't suppose I can presume to answer that question for you. And yet I am betting, I am hoping that you can. Now, for me, there are 3 practices that come easily to mind. If you'll indulge me, I can certainly speak for myself when I say that to recall my life energies back to center is to withdraw myself from conversations that are going nowhere. Just going to let that sit there for a minute. Now, as a minister, this translates on a weekly, if not daily basis, into the decision to continue to offer a message of oneness and equality, possibility, and radical inclusivity Sunday after Sunday after Sunday to all who can hear it, and to tithe all who cannot hear it back to God. I'm aware that it's so entirely possible to be so enwrapped in what isn't that we can lose what is. It's entirely possible to so clamor after the people who aren't, shall we say, that we neglect the people who are. Now, noting that most of you do not run spiritual centers, perhaps the most common form of conversations that are going nowhere can be found in that latest social media argument of yours. Perhaps you know the one. And if that latest social media argument has compromised your peace, your sleep, your balance. I might be speaking to you. The very wisdom of trees might be speaking to you this morning. Are you giving your life energies to conversations that are going nowhere? Are there some people you need to tithe back to God? What might it mean to recall our life energies back to center, that capital L life might restore, renew, and reinvigorate its creation in another season? Well, again, I can't pretend to speak for you, but I can certainly speak for myself when I say that to recall my life energies back to center is to make the difference that I can make today. I mean, what is it about the human mind that gets so enrolled in what's happening in other minds, in other families, in other geographies, and what's happening out there that we completely miss the opportunity to make a difference right here? What is it about the human mind that gets itself so enrolled in how the world might better contribute to us that we completely miss our calling to better contribute to the world? What is it about the human mind that would effectively delay a better world by suggesting that a better world should begin somewhere, anywhere, other than right where you are?
On housing, it's all about giving to the community, building relationships, and doing good in the world.
This is our second year doing this. It's really very satisfying for us. It's bringing some goodness into the community and bringing our church community together on a project that is really helpful.
It's a motley crew that you have to work with, though, right?
Okay, and what are we doing?
This is my second year on hands-on housing. Last year was so much fun, I thought I'd come back. And I like to do what I can to help other people when the opportunity presents.
I just love the fact that we're helping the community and know that she couldn't get this work done without the extra set of hands, so that makes me feel real good. And I love all the other volunteers.
It just fulfills me to be able to know that I can and still have the capability of helping others in this beautiful world.
It's such a wonderful opportunity to get together with our friends and some people we don't know real well and get to know them better, but all of us working together to do something and make a difference.
We've got people like Mr. Pravetti here, right? Brings the trailer in, drives it, does it, everything, jack of all trades. He and the people like John in the Unity congregation are what make this such a joyful event.
We're all in this together, and it just shows the compassion and understanding and love that these people have.
Volunteering is a very important issue with me because I think that we who are privileged need to give back to our community.
It's, for me, the perfect example of practical spirituality.
I'm just grateful for the opportunity to bring a little joy to our owner's property here. So
we are doing some beautiful, beautiful work on Melanie's house.
So, Melanie.
Yes.
I know you're really excited about
I
everything
am.
that's happening. How long have you been in this neighborhood?
30 years.
30 years.
30 years today.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's an anniversary transformation.
It's helpful to her neighbors who really care for her, and help her out as they can.
And your neighbors have been just amazing. So you are so well loved.
They've all come together on this, which has been really cool. They've all lent help, they've lent tools.
I have wonderful neighbors.
So it's satisfying all the way around, individually, as a community, and as the larger community.
You have a lovely property here.
Thank you.
What has been the most challenging thing about trying to keep this whole thing up?
The lung problems. I haven't been able to take care of things like I usually do for about 5 years. I haven't been able to do anything really.
Well, we hope you like what you see here. And
I love it. It's just what you did, trimming that tree. Oh my gosh. My dad planted that for me.
Oh.
And it was one out of his, start off of his tree. So he's gone and you managed to save it, so.
That's good. That's wonderful. And you have a backyard patio now, and I know you were looking forward to that so you can have your family in over here again.
Yeah, and having that fence up, oh my goodness. It is so nice. I just can't believe it. Thank you so very much.
You are so, so welcome.
So much. I'm overwhelmed. It's just beyond my wildest dreams.
Well, happy home anniversary, and may you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of the stuff of life, is being able to make a difference. And I think sometimes we go, oh man, I'd really like to make a difference. Well, here we are. This is excellent.
And I think for UIL, all of us feel that we are all one, and we are here to receive love and to give love and to be together. And this is a great way to do that.
Elaine Sharples is the chair of our local humanitarian outreach ministry. Daniel Kalfas and Tim Vokes are the co-chairs of that project. Thanks to them, thanks to the leadership team, thanks to the many volunteers. I can certainly speak for myself when I say that to recall my life energies back to center is to make the difference I can make right where I am. I might suggest that there are people in your sphere who would benefit from your warm smile today. There are people in your sphere who would benefit from your kind word today. There are people in your sphere who would benefit from your simple way, from your welcoming presence, your generous concession today. There might even be people in your sphere who would benefit from a naked apology today. If I didn't believe that a small group of people in Lynnwood, Washington, and I should say that in our hearty embrace of our growing virtual community, a not so small group of people across the country, if I didn't believe that that group were capable of giving rise to a world in which all religious traditions are embraced as tools to bring us together and to lift us up instead of wielded as weapons to press us apart and keep us down. If I didn't believe in that, I would go into the auto body repair business. I would just satisfy my own artistic and introverted nature while listening to loud disco music. But I do believe, Have you ever gotten so enwrapped in how someone or something out there can make life better that we forget to make life better for those who are in our lives today? What might it mean to recall our life energies back to center, that capital L life might restore, renew, and reinvigorate its creation again in another season? I can certainly speak for myself when I say that to recall my life energies back to center is to stop. There are those among us in this room who can speak far more eloquently than I about the effects of perpetuating a fight or flight state day after day after day. Now, what I can say, and you already know this is no longer the theory of mystics. This is the science of medicine. What I can say in my rudimentary way is that, friends, this is not good for you. Accelerated beyond any generation before ours, we are inundated with the fearful propaganda of profiteering machines which would sell the propaganda of our choosing back to us at the high cost of individual souls and our shared humanity alike. Add this to a stew of pandemic, seasoned with uncertainty and instability, and the opportunities to perpetuate a fight or flight state are more than ever before. And yet the tired cliche remains true. If you find yourself staring at that oxygen mask that has fallen from the ceiling of the plane, you've got to put it on you first if you are to be of any enduring use to those you love. This means that if you want to be of maximal benefit to your loved ones, you are the one who has to break that state. If you want to be a maximal benefit to your community, you are the one who has to break that state. If you want to be of maximal benefit to your world, you are the one who has to break that state. How do you do it? Go be in nature, please. Listen to music. Pick up that guitar again. Or yes, cultivate a meditation practice. It's not the mystical stuff of Eastern gurus and yoga teachers. I'd like to provide us an opportunity today to stop. Those who have gathered in this room and those who have gathered in this virtual room. Today, let's stop. So for a few minutes, just take a deep breath with me. Consider closing your outer eyes. And take a deep breath. And take another. And take another. if you're like me, it helps to imagine that breath saturating and permeating the very physicality of you, deepening beyond the lungs, deepening beyond the abdomen, to infill, to provide its life-givingness. Oh, right down to the very toes, through the very fingers. And so we breathe again. Continuing to imagine that breath to deepen and to stretch and to expand. Oh, relaxing, uncurling, unfurling temples and shoulders, fingers. Breathing again. And if you're like me, this gives me a sense of slowing, of softening, leaves me with a gentler heart. Leaves me with a sensation of newfound expansiveness. What might it mean to recall our life energies back to center? That capital L, life, might restore, renew, reinvigorate its creation in another season.
Thank you, Dr. Richard. It was a beautiful, beautiful message and timely. This part of the service that we refer to as offertory is really a time for us to intentionally stand in the flow of substance. It is a time for intentional practice. This is an opportunity to know, along with your spiritual community and with every last thread of your thought, with all of your power, with all of your intention, with all of your being, that by virtue of your inability to be separate from the one substance, you are rich abundance itself. You are life in abundance, wisdom in abundance, power in abundance, love in abundance. Indeed, all that God is, you are in abundance, richly endowed simply by virtue of your inability to be separate. You only need to know it and know it powerfully and accept it with your full self. And so in this time of virtual community, we join our hearts and minds together and bless our individual offerings wherever we are, whether we're here in the sanctuary or out in virtual land. Go ahead and bless our offerings right where we are. And then while Matthew unfolds us with his beautiful voice, you'll have time to access the text to give or online donation option that will be posted for you in your online chat box. So if you would, go ahead and take your offering. And if it's something tangible, go ahead and hold it in your hands. And if it's an intention of amount, go ahead and hold that intention in your hands as well, knowing that both are simply symbols of the rich abundance that you are. And know with me and your community that through the sharing of your abundance of love, of wisdom, of life, of plenty itself, that you are, and thus we are, a blessing in this world. And so it is.
All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. In sweet surrender, in sweet surrender. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. In sweet surrender, in sweet surrender.
So last Saturday evening, we had a hybrid event. Part of our audience was virtual across the country, and we had a number of people in the room as well. It was highly protocoled, of course, and it was a gala dinner, and it's an annual event for us. It was chaired this year by Reverend Nina Clark, and Karen Breen James, who's one of our trustees. And this year's event set forth a vision in which we would offer financial support to those organizations who have supported us over the years. It was such a proud moment to be able to send $1,000 checks to such worthy organizations as the Seattle Aquarium, the Seattle Shakespeare Company, and more. And it also sought to support an idea. Unity has a long history in food service. You may or may not know that. One of the largest vegetarian restaurants in the world was launched in the early 1900s in Kansas City by Unity co-founders Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, serving as many as 200 people a week, 10,000 meals. And we have an idea, an evolving idea of spiritual community in which not only do we gather on Sunday mornings for experiences such as this, not only do we gather on Tuesday evenings for the enrichment of adult education, but we come together for lunch on a Tuesday. We come together for lunch on a Wednesday. We are launching a restaurant that will feature the adapted, updated recipes from 1906 to the 1920s to the 1960s, the original Unity cookbooks. It's quite exciting. And so the kitchen here will be developed into a commercial grade kitchen, and we will be able to enjoy the pleasure of each other's company in a new way. Imagine coming here, having a bite of lunch, coming to the sanctuary for midday meditation, maybe going to the gift shop, picking up a good book, going onto the nature trails and reading some of it. I want to offer my deep thanks this morning to the community who has so generously supported this idea, and to the two leaders who spearheaded our efforts, Reverend Nina Clark and Karen Breen James. Thank you. Your Saturday night party raised over $58,000. That's amazing. That's amazing. You people want to eat. Election Day, if you haven't heard, we're doing an Election Day meditation. It will begin at noon Pacific time. It will be streamed via our social media channels. Please consider joining me, Reverend Nina Clark, Barbara Thorpe, a number of Unity in Lynnwood prayer chaplains for a time of slowing, a time of elevating and imagining. Let us together create a space of availability for holiness to have its way with us and with all ready souls on this important day and beyond. Tuesday, noon Pacific. It's a new workshop. It's called Advance Directives. It's scheduled for the 14th of November, 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. It's been written, in the complex world of Western medicine and health care, treatment and care choices are difficult to navigate, especially now in this time of pandemic, even for those who are well educated and knowledgeable about their own health. Oh, it speaks to me. Explore the realities of healthcare, aging, crisis, the dying process, and choices related to these realities with Bishop Kathy Chalmers, who works as a professional healthcare chaplain currently with the Inpatient Palliative Care Service at Providence Regional Medical Center in Everett. Thank you, Bishop Kathy, for bringing us this conversation. The workshop will include an exploration of advanced healthcare directives, life and death preferences and choices, and information designed to help you navigate these choices. That sounds valuable. It will be held virtually. Upon registration, you will receive a link. Join us on Wednesday, November 25th. This is Thanksgiving Eve. It's one of my favorite services of the year. It was Unity co-founders Charles and Myrtle Fillmore who taught gratitude not as a reactive human emotion that arises when things go as you have dictated that they should, but as a proactive spiritual discipline. And finally, UIL Connects is an event It's a moderated discussion group held on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month. Is that right? 7:00 p.m. Pacific. All are welcome. Take a deep breath. Thank you for stopping with me today. Thank you for stopping with me. I hope you will stop again soon. What a pleasure it is to be with you. I close my eyes to the outer world of partiality, that I might open the very spiritual seeingness of me to all that we in a building such as this, on a morning such as this, would consider God to be. So I open the very spiritual eyes of me to life. Life that is not conformed to matters as such as pieces of paper and stones in the ground, but life upon whose currents we have entered this earthly incarnation. Life without beginning, without end. I open the very spiritual eyes of me to a sufficiency. We were not born into lack. We were not born into struggle. I open the very spiritual eyes of me to a wisdom ample to any sense of incompletion, any sense of confusion. Always I open the spiritual eyes of a me to a harmony that can be observed yet again by opening a window, a harmony that permeates all of nature, a harmony that permeates all of its creation. It's a harmony that ever longs to press itself into the world of form. And for open hearts such as yours, I like to think this harmony says, thank you. For loving hands such as yours, I like to think that this harmony says, thank you, I can use you. And we close as we always do with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within